Welcome back to our channel. My name is Jasmine.
And I am Dave.
And this is Engineered by God, where we navigate life from a Christian perspective. And today we have a video where we want to talk about 5 things that, if these things apply to you, you shouldn't be getting married.
Listen, I feel like, and let me know if you guys agree in the comment section. I feel like people who are like not good in relationships or have a really bad track record in relationships or aren't even in relationships at all have the most to say about relationships. And I get it because like from a young age, like the idea of finding that one person, spending the rest of your life with, it's just thrown in your face, from Disney princesses to like R&B music, rom-coms, it's all over the place. But I think what happens is we all want to hit I do, and we do a lot of dumb things along the way. And I think the first thing that you make sure you're not doing this is ignoring red flags. Yeah. Right? And like banking on the potential of what someone has to be as opposed to seeing them for who they are in front of you.
Right. Because I mean, you're not marrying their potential, you know? You're gonna marry them where they are, whenever you guys decide to get married. So, and who knows, they may never, like, you want them to reach that, but you don't know how long it's gonna take them to reach that place where you want them to be. You don't know if they're ever gonna reach that place where you want to be. And so you can't start your marriage on like this idea that, oh, I want you to be this thing. You're not there yet, but maybe one day. That's just gonna, for the marriage relationship, that's just gonna start y'all off in a rocky place.
Here's the thing though, guys. I'm not gonna lie. I this was me 100%. When I was younger, this was the way I should think. Like, if I'm with this person, even though they're not who I think they should be now, like because of me and my influence around them is gonna change. Like, I used to really think this way, and it's real stupid because I couldn't even change myself in ways that I wanted to grow. And I mean, obviously in relationships, you guys do kind of change and adapt for each other, even without noticing it, and hopefully for the better, right? Yeah, you learn how to communicate better, you learn how to anticipate each other's needs better, you learn each other's love languages and all that good stuff. But it's like the idea that this person is going to be a completely different person from who they are right now, or like you just ignore how all the proof of who they are for some hope that there's gonna be this amazing man or amazing woman 10 years from now. It's like, yeah. I don't know about all that. I don't know.
That's a dream. That's a
right.
Fantasy. And the second thing that we want to say is, if you guys have a strong difference in your values, we talked about it before. How he was Christian, I wasn't Christian. I mean, religion is a big thing, and we shouldn't have been together. But
it worked out in the end. But that don't be like, oh, it worked out for them. Let me try. No.
But yeah, like if you guys, we believe that with the Bible, it says that the two are going to become one. And so you guys are now a unit. You're a team. You're moving through life together. And if you guys are on the same team, but you trying to do different plays, how's that go?
Okay, not bad.
Okay,
not bad.
Here we go. Then you're not gonna make the goal.
All right, this way you lost me. But and I know people say like opposites attract, and maybe that's true. Maybe they do attract, but I'm curious to see how like they stay together, like if that works long term. Because like throughout your marriage, even the couples that agree on everything and seem to be the perfect couple still find ways to have conflict between each other and still find ways to disagree. And so if on every little and major thing you guys kind of just see things completely differently, I feel like that can just lead to a lot of ongoing conflict. And it's good that we're not exactly the same, that we do see things differently on certain things. But like, obviously, religion, right? For us, for Christians, should only be dating and marrying Christians. That's how we believe, because it completely impacts how you view and live your life. And if you're with somebody who doesn't live their life by that way, you're gonna have areas where it's gonna be like, yo, there's an impasse here. Like I can't compromise on this, and I'm not budging.
Right, and we're not like talking about, oh, he likes it hot, I like it cold.
No, that's no.
Well, that's the thing, because you're gonna have to deal with that. You probably gonna have to deal with that. All right,
That's
but
a major issue.
I'm talking about core values.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right. Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'll pop one up.
But the next thing that's a big issue is if you're with somebody who isn't willing to set and respect boundaries of relationships, whether that be previous relationships with exes or friends or whatever, and doesn't really have a firm, doesn't really value those boundaries that you guys want to set in your relationship.
Right, because like going back to the Bible, we think that the Bible sets a precedent on the hierarchy of relationships in your life. So it's your relationship with God, your relationship with your spouse, your relationship with your children, and then like everyone else, in whatever order underneath that. But your relationship with your spouse once you're married should be the most important relationship in your life. And that means that you need to do whatever it is you need to do to make sure that you are putting that person first and they feel like, the relationship or the marriage.
Wow.
Okay. That's the baby. Blame it on the baby. Is the basically most important thing to you. Mm-hmm. So like if, you want to be friends with an ex and your wife or husband is like, I do not feel comfortable with that. I'm a little insecure about that. I don't want that to happen. Then you need to cut that person off. And if you're the type of person who's like, no, I'm not willing to, then that's just a bad place to be. Like, in me, that just is like, well, why are they so important? I'm your wife, ain't I? And your husband, ain't I?
Right. And thing is, like, boundaries and stuff will kind of like change and grow and adapt as you guys develop in your relationship. But what's important, no matter at what stage you guys are in, is the respect of those boundaries. Knowing that you're with someone who will respect those boundaries that you guys have set and won't do things to kind of like push the limits. Like, just because you aren't crossing the boundary doesn't mean that you gotta push the limit to, you know what I mean? And I think that having that understanding. The next thing though, I can go move on to the next thing. The next thing is being with somebody who's just unwilling to compromise.
Right. They want everything their way. Right.
Because here's the thing with compromise. I mean, typically, you're not doing this because you're so glad to do it for yourself. You're doing it for the betterment of the relationship, right? And I think if you're with somebody who's saying to you, I don't care to compromise, they're kind of saying like, to them, what their satisfaction and their needs comes before the relationship ultimately. And like, obviously this can be difficult because as a person who is basically always right, sometimes you're like, why do I need to compromise? Like, why do I need to meet in the middle? But obviously, like, that's it. It's a very dangerous mindset to have because you are two becoming one. And if we're going to become one, then we have to move in that way,
Right. I agree with everything he said except for him always being right.
Here's the thing. I might not always be right, but I'm pretty sure I'm never wrong.
There we go. Still in line. But yeah, I mean, everything you said is how I feel. Have to be willing to compromise because you guys have different upbringings and, you're going to want things differently and feel differently about different things, obviously. But, why would I want to be in a marriage with someone who's always like, yeah, it's only my way? Like, at that point, you might as well just be in the relationship by yourself.
Right.
Right.
And I want to say something too, like, I think when people hear the word compromise, it's like you hear a negative thing sometimes. Like, you think, oh, I'm not getting what I want. But actually, sometimes in compromise, like, you are open to an opportunity to do something that you wouldn't have done that may end up being better for you personally, like, not just for the relationship. Like, I'm like, wow, I didn't want to do this, but your way is actually better. And I'm actually a better person for it. So compromise isn't like
it's not always just meeting in the middle.
Right. Sometimes it is doing what the other person wants to do, right? But it's like it can be a very positive thing too.
Yeah. And the last thing, we're on 5, right? The last thing that we feel like is a red flag, basically, is if you basically, if you are always thinking of a way out, like if you think that you can get married, but divorce is always an option. Like if you go into the marriage thinking that when things get tough, you can leave, then why are you getting married? Y'all might as well just stay dating.
Right. So like for me, I've been recently I've been trying to get back in shape for like the last 5 years now. And so what happens is I've gone to workout classes in like a group setting, and I've also worked out like by myself. And like when you're in a class setting, you never really think that hey, I could just quit. I mean, you can, but that doesn't come into your mind because you're working out with a group of people. You're like, I'm gonna push myself to the very end.
And you paid for it.
And you paid for it, right? If for nothing else, just because I don't want to look like I can't do it in front of all these people. But when you're by yourself at home, like there can be that temptation to be like, I don't really feel like it, or I'm gonna push not as hard, or I'm gonna cut the video 5 minutes short. Like, and then once you start thinking I can quit, you most likely will end up quitting before you reach that goal. And I think like that can really that can be the same thing in relationships. Like if you're going into a relationship or you're in a relationship, but in the back of your mind like, oh, I can always leave. It's like, well, when you hit some adversity, then maybe you might be like, you know what, let me just leave right now. As opposed to if you had that mentality to say like, this is gonna be forever. How do I work through this? How do we compromise, or how do we find a way to get stronger together? As opposed to be like, you know what, I want to live my best life. I'm out of here.
Yeah. When you were saying that example, all I could think about is the person who's sitting on the couch eating their ice cream, watching the workout like, oh yeah, this was definitely a hard workout. But what do I want to say? I got off track. But I think that when you come into marriage, and one of the best things about marriage for me is that I find security in the commitment, right? Mm-hmm. Knowing that whether we have hills or valleys, what have you, like we're in this for the long haul, and I can bring things to you. We can have disagreements. We can talk about things. I can be open. I can be vulnerable. And I know you're not going to leave me. You know what I mean? And so I think that if you get rid of that security, not security, get rid of that level of commitment, then it also eliminates how secure you're going to feel in the relationship. And that
limits vulnerability, because if I don't feel secure, I'm not going to show you my entire self just in case you walk away.
Right. And this is supposed to be like the most intimate relationship you have with another human being. So you don't have that, you can't be vulnerable, don't have that intimacy, then that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah. But I mean, that's pretty much it for us. These 5 things. I mean, if you're struggling with all 5 of these things, find a nearest counselor. Because like these are major things. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like each one can be something that can really cripple a relationship long term. And if you have multiple of these.
Yeah, I mean, but it's never too early to, work on yourself. It's never too early for self-improvement, But if, like you said, if you're engaged to someone, planning to marry somebody, and you guys you struggle in this area, then this marriage counseling is that. Well, you should always do marriage counseling, yeah, but that's definitely a thing that you guys should look into. Right, because I do is not the end. That's just the beginning. We just started. That's day 1 of marriage. Like that's not the end. That's day 1 of marriage. But yeah, if you like this video, that's not even a whole day. That's a half a day of marriage. Right. And most of it, you're just saying hi to people and smiling at people. You know what I mean? Taking pictures and whatnot. But that's pretty much it for us in this video. If you like this video, hit that like button. Let us know. Let us know if you liked it. And of course, you can leave a comment of any other suggestions that people should be aware of in terms of relationship major red flags. And of course, if you aren't subscribed, hit that subscribe button and check out some more of our videos. Maybe some of these videos down here where we break down some other things in our relationship over the years and whatnot. But that's it for us. See ya.